Yo, what's up, you guys? Here we are. This is episode 2 of my vlog. And those of you that potentially watch my Instagram stories will know that I'm very much getting this shit done by how high this bun is today. Today we are talking about coffee. Just take a moment and bow your head to your heart for all of the coffee that was drank before and the coffee that was drank today and the coffee that will be drank. On a serious note, coffee, this bun is not perfect today, I just want you to know. On a serious note, coffee is a real part of a lot of people's days, of a lot of people's lives. There's a lot of information out there on the interwebs about coffee being good for you at this time of the day, and don't drink coffee past 2 p.m. or 4 p.m. or midnight or whatever. And I'm gonna share a little bit about my experience not drinking coffee for 32 days, October 1st to November 1st. But seriously, who was counting? I was. This was really hard in the beginning. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It was really hard in the beginning because I was kind of like, I don't want to give up coffee, but I also wanted to see how I felt not drinking coffee. And so me not really wanting to give up coffee, but wanting to know what it was going to feel like not to drink coffee, because it's been a long time since I've given it up. In fact, I just remembered right now, 2014, July, the month of July was my yoga teacher training. And that was the last time that I gave up coffee for any extended period of time. So it's 2018, it's November. Like, that's a lot of coffee being drank from that time to this time. So I was just feeling like off, and like, I wasn't just feeling like off, I was feeling off. I was feeling like my day couldn't start without coffee. There was like this whole rigmarole shitstorm that had to happen before I did anything. It was like, okay, I can only do computer work, or I can only go to a client, or I can only, go and do X, Y, and Z, A, B, C before must have a coffee. Anything gets done, coffee was happening. And Grant and I have had some really solid conversations about coffee, and he's so disciplined. I love it. And it's also like a pain in my ass sometimes, because I'm like, how are you so disciplined? You guys think I'm disciplined? Whoa. So he doesn't have coffee for the first hour of his day. And I am always like, how do you do this? And this was like not giving up coffee, or pre-giving up coffee rather. How do you do it? And he's like, you just don't have it for the first hour of the day. Like, just wait, have some water, have your breakfast. And he would like commute to work, so he's got some time and would do that. And I was sort of like, I would wake up, literally roll out of bed and be like, where's the coffee? And I was kind of like this like gremlin. And then as soon as I had my coffee, I was like, oh, okay, everything's better. Do you guys relate to this? Maybe potentially some of you in the fitness industry, or instructors, trainers. I've even chatted with a few of my yoga teacher friends, and they're just like, coffee, yeah, for sure, and so I was like, okay, it's time. Nervous system reset is like the best way that I can describe this. I was chatting with one of my friends. It was just through an Instagram message, and she said, oh, I'm giving up coffee too. And it was like, she said it, nervous system reset. And I was like, that's exactly what this is. I feel like I was just like a little too wired on having to have coffee before I did anything. And so I'm the first one to be like, I'm going to prove this to myself that I can do it. And that it's actually, I think that was like the piece that I was like, I'm going to prove this to myself that I'm not reliant and that I can do it. And so sometimes I'll do that with like waking up early a certain amount of days in a row, or, committing to a certain like 2 weeks of my own program's workouts, or, just like doing something consistently. And I think when you get away from doing things consistently, it's like always a good check-in to be like, okay, let's get consistent again. I see this with my clients a lot too. So it's sort of like when they fall away from working out and then they come back to it, it's like, okay, let's see if we can do this, like a little challenge, you know? And so I feel so good. That's a bottom line. The bottom line, any of you that are watching this, listening to this being like, oh yeah, I feel like I'm kind of running on the end of like a ragged edge, just do it. Set yourself a day. You know, I'm very much like, okay, it has to be the first of the month. And I know that you could start it at any time. It's somehow there's like this freshness to the beginning of a month. And I feel so good. I started drinking tea. I actually went out and bought like 3 boxes of new kinds of tea. There was like a couple decaf kinds that were tasty, and then another one that was like a black tea. Still had a little caffeine. So there's the piece. People were like, are you not drinking coffee or are you not having caffeine? And so I was very clear, it's not coffee. So yeah, there was a little bit of caffeine in the tea. And then I learned that sometimes there's more caffeine in tea. So I was like, okay, well, either way, bottom line is I feel so good. And I think this, like the whole lesson around this is if you just find yourself doing one thing, like say it's a glass of wine every night of the week, and then you get to the weekend and you have like a few, or say you're staying up late and you're always on Instagram. I find myself doing this and I like roll my eyes at myself. I'm like, just put your fucking phone down. Seriously, that's real life right now. And it's like, if you find yourself doing something that's sort of like, you know, is borderline real, like just not healthy, doesn't feel good. Let's go with that. You're doing something a lot that doesn't feel quite right on the inside. Make a change. And for me, that was giving up coffee. I started drinking more tea. I was doing more like just adding lemon to water throughout the day. And rather than just at the start of the day. Some of you might know that can be a really good way to get your guts in a pH that is more basic and less acidic. And if you didn't know, now you know. And really truly creating like a plan. I was like, okay, I'm gonna drink tea instead. Because if I wasn't drinking coffee, I was like, well, you want something, you know, sort of that ritual of like making your coffee or going to pick your coffee up or whatever it is. I just created like a new habit and a new ritual around it. So now I'm allowing myself to have a cup of coffee on Wednesdays, in the middle of the week, and then just on the weekends. And I'm going to see how it goes for the next little bit. And yeah, so I hope this helps a little bit or give you some insight. My guts feel better. I feel like my skin is more clear. I have more, like literally I have more energy than I ever have. And the first week of headaches was super gnarly. So just prepare for that. I use CBD oil as sort of like a help amidst that. And so, yeah, if you're feeling like something's off or just not quite right, coffee can be a culprit as well as a really big, beautiful eye opener to have more energy and to just show yourself that you can do it and you can feel real good as you do it. If you want to see more of these, share this around, comment below, thoughts, comments, feels, put them in there. Click the subscribe button down below and there will be more where this came from.